Oh, you guys, I hope I didn't have like a little crusty crunch right here, y'all. My nose is still in the last video. It was something there, y'all. Just act like you ain't seen it. Just act like you ain't seen it. Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, For Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Alright, you guys, so this video, let's start it off with a more serious story, you guys. This story actually is gonna piss you off because it pissed me off, and it actually gave me like the creeps when I was reading the story, because I just cannot imagine the type of pain that these poor little newborn defenseless NICU babies, I can't imagine the pain that these babies went through, who cannot speak out for themselves, you know, that are sitting there at the mercy of this crazy ass fucking nurse that they now have decided was deliberately breaking the bones of. Right now, it looks like it's minority babies within this hospital. This was in Henrico. Her name is Erin Stratman. She was in Henrico, am I saying that correctly? I feel like I'm not. County in Richmond, Virginia. She was a nurse at the hospital. Let me see, I got the hospital name here. No, maybe I did not get the hospital name, you guys, but she was a nurse in the hospital in the NICU area, and they said over the years there were babies that were having like these strange like fractures and breaks of bones, and they could not explain what happened. But in this case, what finally brought the news to the table was there was a couple that had just had twin babies. They were like 2 and 3 pounds, and they were keeping them in the NICU, you know, until they just like finished baking and being ready or whatever. And so the father had gone to the hospital to visit the babies one day, and they told the father that the baby had an unexplained fracture on his leg. And the father could not understand, like, what do you mean he had a fracture? Like, the baby was fine. They couldn't explain why they had this fracture. The father couldn't explain it, but the father started to feel defensive because he felt like they were like kind of like blaming him for this break. So then the father said that he started to not even want to hold his own children because he did not want to be blamed for this. And some charges get pressed because I guess they was kind of giving him the side eye or whatever. So he said that during this time, this was about a year ago, I believe, but he said that during this time, he decided not to hold the babies while he was in the hospital. And now he feels guilt because now that this new information has come out, it was just sort of like my baby was at the hands of this crazy bitch who decided to, like, you know, they said that at the time they explained it to him that the baby somehow got a fracture while a nurse was administering like some sort of shot. Okay, now I don't know how much roughhousing you got to be with a baby that you would fracture them giving them a shot, but maybe it happens. Okay, I don't work in the field, so my real rock star medical workers, you know, people that actually are used to administering shots and things like that. Like, does it get to a point where maybe you got to get in between a joint or something and you can do something that, like, to me, that sounds excessive, but this is a newborn baby. Bones aren't fully developed and all that. So maybe there are times when, you know, you could accidentally be too rough for even a newborn baby. So maybe, but to me, we got bones. All I can see in my mind is this woman looking around and breaking bones and all this. They said that they had to look at hours and hours of surveillance camera footage, and then that's how they figured out that this woman was responsible for it. Now they're saying that there are 7 other situations where there were babies that had like unexplained injuries, and now they're going back and that she was most likely responsible for those injuries as well. I tell you what, if I was that fucking any of them parents, I'd sue the fuck. I know I don't even have to say it. But just in case they did not realize it. They fixing to come up so big with this story, I would sue the hell out of every single one of them people up in there. Okay? Because you mean to tell me that y'all had this woman up in here and this woman is breaking newborn baby? Oh my God, just the thought. Every time I think about it, it makes my skin crawl. I just thinking about that makes me just almost want to cry for those babies, because do you know how painful a break is that goes just thinking about it. I'm a stop. Okay. But yeah, they need to throw old girl under the fucking jail. She needs to be in jail for a long time. And just from her injuries of what she did with those babies, that could have created long-term problems for these babies in the future, so she needs to pay for all that. And again, just in case them families don't know, I'm sure they do, but just in case you need a reminder, you best to sue the fuck out of every single body around there. Sue them all. Get your money. Okay, next story. All right, you guys, Dwight Howard versus Shaq. Now, Dwight, I've been talking about this nigga way too much. I've never liked Dwight Howard, even before we had the bad news about how he treated Royce, okay? And side note, that Royce situation, child, I finished watching all of them videos, and I was just like, Royce, girl, you done wore me out, child. You done wore me out. Now I'm going to be on Royce's side, because I don't believe that the girl is lying, but I also have to look at Royce and be like, girl, why would you give him all of these times to play in your fucking face? I'll never understand why she moved with that man during COVID. And yes, I understand we was all trying to shelter in place with our family and all that, but that man ain't never been family to you, never been family to your son. What made you think that that was going to work? And then even when she said that the damn baby mama, the other baby mama, when she found out that he was trying to have like a sister-wife situation and she left and Royce stayed, I was just like, what? So then it makes me look at Royce. I still got the looks for Dwight. Okay, this ain't nothing. He's still full of shit. Okay, but it made me look at Royce and just be like, Royce, girl, you don't want to say that a motherfucker stupid or something like that, because everybody, we done all been dumb for a man once or twice in our lives and everything. But I'm just like, girl, he had been already showed you that he was not changing in any kind of way, and why? Oh, that might be not fair to ask, but it's a natural reaction. It's just like, girl, what did you think? But anyway, getting back to this Shaq and Dwight beef that we didn't even know was brewing up over all these years. I always knew that Shaq probably didn't really see it for Dwight. We saw when Dwight came out during that dunk contest. Like, I remember like it was yesterday when he decided that he was going to be Superman, and he had that whole production and coming out the fucking phone booth and the damn cape and the whole production, and Shaq being there, and everybody's like, oh, he calling himself the Superman and all that, and them talking shit, and Shaq must have felt away. And so Dwight has said that over the years, Shaq has maybe been jealous of him. He didn't maybe use those words, but he was insinuating that Shaq was jealous of him. And I was like, listen, Dwight. Now, Shaq might have been a whole bunch of things. Ain't nobody said that Shaq's been perfect. There's been times where Shaq has said things that's gotten on my nerves and everything. So, there's that. But what I am going to say is that Shaq... He ain't got no reason to be jealous of Dwight Howard. None. Okay? Shaq might have wished he did some things differently in his life, but he ain't got no reason. Why would he feel jealous of Dwight Howard? I don't feel like Dwight has ever had good press. He's never had good press. Part of it is because of the situation with Royce and all, but he's had so many blunders and things in his life. For him to even fix his mouth to say something like, he don't understand over the 20 years, that Shaq got a problem with him, I might have looked up to him, maybe I feel like him, about him like I do for Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley and Magic Johnson, maybe it's I'll say this, if Dwight Howard felt like he wishes that him and Shaq could like bury the hatchet and they can be okay, and Shaq could understand that maybe Dwight looks up to him, if that's what he was trying to do, the way that he went about it wouldn't make me think that that's what you was trying to do either. You know, now I ain't never felt like Dwight is looking up to Shaq. All right. I don't know. I just felt like Dwight was living his life and Shaq was living his life, you know, but I'm sure Shaq has had some slick things to say over the years. You know, that's part of their little thing that they do and all. But I think that Dwight maybe felt like his presence, that he was more important in Shaq's life than he was. So I was just like, whatever. So, you know, they did their little going back and forth, and Dwight said, you jealous of me? Oh, he did say you jealous of me. He said it in a tweet, though. I don't think he said it in that interview, but when he was responding to Shaq, where Shaq was like, nigga, if you can't just take a couple of good little natured little ribs, you know, of me trying to jab at you or saying something smart, like if you got to turn it into all this, you ain't got to worry about it. I will never say anything about you at all. Okay? Never, ever again. And maybe that's just the best approach, Shaq. Just act like the nigga don't exist. But, you know, listening to Dwight, now he's sent a cease and desist to Royce. But she got all of her story out, as long and drawn out and tiring as it was. I was just like, girl, if you don't get to the point. But I'm getting tired of talking about Dwight, because it's really, there's nothing else. There's nothing else to talk about. We're going to see if this relationship, you know, listen, everybody, Rocky love and everything. So he with this new girl, the Amy Luciano girl or whatever, and they look like they happy, and maybe he done turned over a new leaf. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Don't seem like it, but maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that Shaq and Dwight thing, I was just like, oh God, Dwight. Pick another battle. Pick another battle. Okay, you guys, let's move on to this next story. Y'all was asking me about the pastor that was shaming a young girl for getting pregnant at the church. This was also in Virginia. It's a lot going on. This is Hampton, Virginia, at the True Vine Apostolic Church of Christ, okay, where Pastor Terry Jackson is the pastor. Apparently he had the young girl, 16 years old, get up in front of the congregation and apologize to them for getting pregnant. Now, first of all, in my mind, this is probably a smaller church, a family type church, you know, generations, you know, they just get born into the church and then they go there to the church and then they have kids and then they kids go there. And it kind of gives me that feel to begin with. I might be wrong, but that's the way that I feel. But for the fact that this pastor felt comfortable enough to get this 16-year-old girl up in front of the congregation and feel like she needs to apologize to these people, you know, it makes me feel like maybe they all have more of a familiar family type vibe there. That's not an excuse, but I think that that's probably what the setup is there. I didn't like the fact that, listen, I understand that church, you know, your morals and your values, and, you know, these are the things that people concentrate on, and they want our youth to, you know, abide by these type of rules and to keep all of those values, you know, as they become adults and create their own families and all that. Like, I get all of that. To me, though, parading a child up there who's already done something wrong and then feel like you need to parade them in front of the whole congregation and this person needs to apologize to you, that's where I draw the line. You're being ridiculous. First of all, yes, she did sin and she got pregnant out of wedlock, young, having sex, all that. Yeah, we got all of that, but there's plenty of people in that church. And don't let us get the fucking microscope out on this pastor, because you guys know, like I know, that some of these pastors out there ain't right to begin with. Okay? A lot of them. All right? They got a lot of shit coming their way too. And it takes a very strong person to have to turn down all this TNA that comes their way and all this. But we ain't even, the pastor ain't on the block right now. But what I'm saying is, everybody in that church has sinned. So if we gonna be parading the ones that done had sex out of wedlock, up there too, then let's parade all the rest out there. The ones that's cheating on their husband and their wife with somebody else that's sitting up there right up in that church. Let's talk about the ones that be cursing, using God's name in vain, the people that's jealous of other folks, people that's coveting other people's wives and husbands. There's people out there that's cheating and killing and stealing and all of these other commandments also that God says that we should not do, that we do on the daily. Okay? I don't think it's anybody's responsibility for you to be sitting up here feeling like which sin that you consider to be worse than others. And there's no way that as a mother, I would let my daughter get up in front of nobody's church and for the pastor not only to embarrass me by making them, apologize, but for them to also reprimand everybody in the church. And she better not have no baby showers. Y'all better not be going to none of no baby showers. Her mother better not take care. The baby got to get taken care of. So the mama gonna have to take care of her, but she ain't got to be celebrating by giving her no baby shower. Nigga, who the fuck is you? You ain't gonna tell me what to do. Okay? No. You're not fixing to tell me what I can and cannot celebrate for my daughter. Yes, she made one mistake. Okay? Or maybe she made a few mistakes. However, y'all not fixing to reprimand my child. So it's unfortunate that the mother did that. Maybe the mother didn't know that the pastor was going to do that, but I've grown up in churches and I know how pastors can be and everything. So, he just was feeling himself there, but yeah, no. That's going to be a no. Maybe you guys need to have conversations with this girl, let her know where her mistakes were made so that she doesn't do it again, but shaming them in front of the church, no. Just that whole situation, I just was like, I'm tired of all of it. But yeah, parading her up there and her, I'm so sorry, you guys. It was just like, baby, I know you sorry. You didn't have to, I didn't need you to come up here and apologize from the church. But I know, I kind of have a feeling. It's apostolic too. I'm sure I know exactly how it go down up in here. All right. That's the opinion. Moving on to the next story. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook and IG, okay, Meta, I should say. It's all under that same umbrella. He said that he's getting rid of the fact checkers on Facebook, and I'm assuming it will be Instagram as well, anything that falls under the Meta umbrella. But yeah, he's saying that he was inspired by Elon Musk's Twitter, well, formerly known as Twitter X's policy on fact checking and all. I guess that they're saying is that the fact checkers have become so politically biased and motivated that even the fact checking on certain things that have been said have been incorrect. Okay. And now it's starting to feel like the fact checkers are starting to sway opinions by maybe just telling partial truths or not, omitting things from the facts and all of this. So he says now he's going to get rid of that. They're going to have some other thing called community ideas or community thoughts or something like this, where people, I guess, weigh in on whatever the topic is, and I don't know. All I know is they say that this is going to usher in the whole feel of free speech again, and it's not going to be tying people down and keeping them from being able to say whatever. They're pushing this free speech, but to me, free speech should not mean you can just say whatever, whether it's true or not. Okay, you can say a whole bunch of untruths and you can do a lot of damage. You can say something happened that hadn't happened at all, and you can get enough people riled up on social media and have a whole phenomenon going on, and none of that shit even happened. But the fact that it was said on social media, people believe it. People believe that because things are on the internet that is true, and there's a lot of untruths on the internet, so I can see how this is going to be a mess. I can see how this is going to be a problem, but the next 4 years and maybe for a length of time after that is going to be a mess. So I've prepared myself fully, and I just see things that happen now, and I just be like, well, they already said what they were going to do, so this is it. Like, I'm not getting indignant. I keep telling y'all I'm not getting indignant. I ain't getting worked up or nothing. I just be like, yeah, where's my video game? Y'all, I got my Steam Deck. Oh, I love it so much. I got a Steam Deck. My dad and my daughter together bought me this Steam Deck for Christmas. And I love it so much. And you guys, I play it so much. And y'all saw Ashley got her PS5. I said, Ashley, girl, I'm gonna turn you into a gamer, girl. Now, I don't have the console for the TV or whatever, but I do have my Steam Deck, which I can still put on the computer if I wanted to and all, you know, and I still have my Nintendo Switch, but that's all I'm into, y'all. I just play my game. I just mind my business. When I get home, I just mind my business. Play my game. I told Ashley, I said, girl, it's going to take all that stress. You know, you're going to be so wrapped up in them games, you're going to look up and you've been on that motherfucker for 4 hours, okay? And you ain't thought about no fucking Instagram. You ain't scrolling mindlessly, getting too much information, all that. I'm telling y'all need to get you a video game. Y'all need to. Baby, y'all need to. And get up off of this social media because it's too much information. It's too much overstimulation. It's just bad. It's just bad. And 2025, we gonna introduce more hobbies and shit into our lives. Okay? I'm gonna talk to y'all more about it, but y'all need to find some other shit to do. Find something else that is gonna take away your constant need for information that doesn't help you in any kind of way, and sometimes even turns up the anxiety button just to the fullest. Okay? Yeah. We'll talk about it more, but in the meantime, y'all get y'all little games together, coloring books, you know, puzzles, Lego sets, all these different sets that you can put together. Get you some shit that's going to take away some of the stress. I'm telling you, journal. That's another thing you can do. Get it out your mind, write it. I'll talk to y'all more about it later, but that's what on that. Getting back to the story, Mark Zuckerberg say, yeah, he about to have free speech, just like Elon. Okay, you guys, Ghana say, listen, African Americans and black folks all over in the UK and Jamaica and Canada and wherever else y'all might be, if y'all feeling like you need to come on back home to where your ancestors are, come on to Ghana. Come on to Ghana. You're going to have to pay a little bit of money and whatnots, but then you can be a citizen. You can be considered a citizen of this African country. Okay? Many of us, you know, 15 to 30 million people was taken during the transatlantic slave trade, and you know, people got separated from their ancestors. They don't know where they came from. You know, all they know is they was from somewhere in Africa. Many of us went through Ghana, so now they're saying if you feel like you have some sort of tie to our country, you come on here, we're gonna give you citizenship. So we've been seeing black people. Most notably, I noticed that Mendices and Yandy went over there and got their citizenship. So I guess you have like dual citizenship. And other people have gone over there. And like I said, Ghana has given them citizenship. So they, you know, back and forth or whatever. There have been people that have moved there fully, started businesses there, happy with their decisions. Feel that they can afford their lifestyle over there. Even though I've heard that Ghana has like expensive areas just like anybody else, I've heard that Ghana is beautiful and that there's a lot that goes on over there. You know, people in their mind think that when you hear African country, you think third world and all that, and they like, no. There's plenty of people in Africa that they got a whole bunch of fucking money. Okay, I mean, it's the land of resources. It's stuff that's happening over there like anywhere else, you know. So yeah, people are going over there. I don't know if I would take it that far. It is definitely a bucket list. I want to go over to Africa. I want to go on a beautiful safari. You know, I want to like spend time over there and learn things more about the culture because I don't, know much about it and all. But yeah, so people have moved over there. People immersing themselves in the culture, learning about, where they came from, where their, where their community came from and all that. So that's great. And those who have taken this leap say that they do feel an automatic connection when they're over there, just knowing that, they're back to where it all started. So would you guys do that? we've all talked about it. People all joked about it, when the elections was going and all. People were saying they was leaving the country and all of that. I mean, is that something that you have thought about? I think we've all thought about it, especially when the elections first happened. It was just like, oh my God, am I going to have to leave? But I mean, I'm not leaving my home country, not for no shit like this, because WhatsApp done ran me off. But I mean, I have felt like I could live in a different country. I don't know. I would have to visit Africa or anywhere really to see if that's somewhere that I believe that I can be, and if it's a culture shock, or could I actually stand it there and all that, just feeling how different it is. But yeah, I don't know if I could do the citizenship thing, but I go visit a whole bunch of times, y'all, and that should be good enough too. But y'all let me know what you think about it. Would you run over there? I think there will probably be more places that'll start doing this as well. I think it financially helps them. And that this program also, you guys, I wanted to mention that this did not start with the elections. They started this program, I think they call it a return to, what is it called? The year of the return. That's the name of the program. They started it in 2019. So this has been a situation that's been going on for some time, and people are just starting to take advantage of it because of WhatsApp and this promise of chaos of 4 more years. I'm crying. All right, y'all, let's move on to the next story. Okay, Allison Holker, you guys, y'all real mad at her. This was the ex-wife, well, not the ex-wife, the widowed wife to Twitch. Stephen Boss, is that his name? Who, you guys know, unfortunately had killed himself. I think he had an overdose. He was in the hotel. Remember the whole weird story? He was missing for a couple of days. The wife didn't know where he was. And then they found out he was at some hotel. He had ended up, I think we thought that he had shot himself, but now they're saying it was a fentanyl overdose. So it wasn't a gunshot wound. But anyway, now she's coming out and she's speaking on things that she's discovered since she died. Now, when I was listening to her talk, I was like, it sounded like this lady done got scorned. Because when you get on an interview and you get to blasting your husband who is now deceased, when we thought you guys was in a loving relationship and getting along just fine, and then you come back out and you feel the need to explain to us that he had all these secrets that you didn't know about. You went through this closet and you saw he was on drugs and he had this and he was suffering because he had been sexually abused when he was a child and all that. Like, I understand all that. Like, you do find out things when people died. That's fine. But I didn't understand why she felt the need to tell everybody. Okay? Like, to me, you didn't honor your husband enough to keep his secrets. They were a secret for a fucking reason. Obviously, he didn't want people to know that. But I mean, I can't tell this woman what she can't say about her own life. To me, it just felt like she might have been scorned, or maybe she found out some other things about him and she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I feel like saying. And yes, he was going through and all, and I'm gonna let the people know, I'm gonna write a book about it and all this. So that's why she's on this new PR train, because she's promoting this book that she has. But of course, it's rubbed people the wrong way, is because, girl, you had to tell us that this man had a fentanyl addiction, or he was addicted to drugs and he was going through all this. Like, why you had to tell us that? How does that help us right now? How does that help your children, who still have to deal with the fact that their father is not here any longer? It's already all this question about how he died or whatever and what he was going through. They having to deal with this. Now your children got to find out that he had a drug addiction and that, he kept these secrets from his wife. And I'm like, girl, like, why you did all this? And then how does it help the family that's still mourning and in grief over the fact that they loved one is gone? Nobody wants to hear you talking about, yeah, that's your husband, but this is also this woman's son. This is this man's son, this child's uncle. This is, it's like, why sully? Why make him look any worse than he already did when the shit happened? Like, why go through that? And then the family is pissed because they was like, this bitch made us sign an NDA at the funeral. We couldn't even talk about the shit, but now she out here just blasting them all like, willy-nilly. Like, how's that fair? So the family is upset with her. So now she done came back out and she apologized and saying that she just doing this because she hoping she'll help somebody. Sometimes it ain't your responsibility to help everybody. Not when it comes to the cost of what it costs other people's reputation. Now, yeah, granted, the man dead, so it's nothing gonna really happen to his reputation, but let him rest in peace. Okay? So that's why the fact that she was making him look so bad, it made me feel like he done did some shit that pissed her off, but she ain't gonna tell that part, but she gonna be like, well, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I feel like, because this nigga was out here doing what he wanted to do. You know, it feels like that's where where that came from, and that's why she felt like she needed to let everybody know that he had these addictions. Yeah, you know, and then like I was, when I was scrolling and I saw Funky Dineva was like, well, that's the man that she chose. I mean, that's the woman that he chose to, you know, be in charge of his legacy left over when you know he's gone. And I was like, yeah, well, that's true. Like, I mean, he that's who he was with. So you had to trust that I might get up out of here, you know, hopefully that my spouse is going to, you know, talk about me correctly and preserve my legacy, you know, because a lot of people really did like Twitch. And then here you come with this shit. Child. It's just too bad. It's too bad, but I can't worry about it. I saw Candace had something to talk about. Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. I agree with Candace, but I didn't agree with the racial aspect of it. Ooh, you almost hit that car. It was just like, it didn't matter if she was white and he was black. It didn't matter to me. To me, it was like, girl, you didn't honor your own husband. You didn't give a fuck what his race is. Like, why are you talking so bad about your own man? It don't matter. She could have been black too, and that would have been fucked up for her to do it even if she was black. You know, Asian, Mexican, Latina, whatever, Native American. Like, if you're going to talk about your spouse, that's the fucked up part to begin with. So yeah, maybe we might hear some more stories about it. It might be some indiscretions in there. I have a feeling that she mad about more stuff than she letting us know. Okay? But we'll move on from that. And then lastly, in quickies, you guys, I guess congratulations are in order to Ricky Smiley. They say that he just found out that he got a set of twins, 5-year-old girls that he did not realize were his babies. He found out, I guess, when they were 4 years old. He was involved with this girl, but they broke up, and, you know, it is what it is. You know, they were fine, but they stayed friends. But anyway, she got on with somebody else, and then she ended up getting pregnant and had these babies, and then she thought that this man that she was with was the father the whole time, but then I guess her and that guy was breaking up, and they were in court, and they were having like, you know, they were doing like custody type of things and trying to figure out those situations. And once they figured out that he was not the father to those babies, then she realized that, okay, if it wasn't him, then it was probably Ricky Smiley. And I guess they took a test and they found out that Ricky Smiley was the father. And Ricky Smiley said the crazy part about the story is that he's always been in those girls' lives, just as Uncle Ricky. Okay, and that they would come over and they would play with I guess he had the grandkids or whatever, and they would play together, and he's always been around the girl. He just wasn't with the girl any longer and all that. But then he found out that he had these babies, and I mean, it was like, you know, wonderful, because he was still saddened over the fact that his son, you know, had died a year or two ago. And so, you know, this was like some new information that he wasn't expected, but just happy to know that, you know, he gets another chance because his kids are all grown, you know. People were saying that, oh, these babies will replace the other. You know, no kids are replacing nobody. This is not a replacement. This is just like some new information that kind of brings some light to an already dark situation. You know, he lost his son. And depression about that, and trying to make sure that everybody is good, like he said, and now he has something that he can just be genuinely happy about. So good for him. And these babies. Now, I've heard rumors, but I wasn't able to confirm these things. But, you know, I was talking to Debbie. You know, Debbie was like, they say that the girl is underage, or was underage when she had the baby. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, they haven't seemed to make that part of the story big, so I feel like that might just be a rumor. I would hope that Ricky ain't out here getting girls 17 years old pregnant. Okay, I don't think that that's true, but there's that rumor out there. But other than that, congratulations are in order to him and his new growing family. Okay. Also, you guys, congratulations are in order to Zendaya. Okay, her and Tom Holland. You know, they've been a couple for a long time. They worked together when they were doing the Spider-Man movies, and they actually became a couple, and they've been together ever since. And now we find out that they are engaged. So they got engaged. We don't know exactly when. We saw the debut of the ring at the Golden Globes red carpet when she showed up in that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dress. Okay, just beautiful. It was the Louis Vuitton copper, yellow, burnt orange, whatever color you want to call it, but the Louis Vuitton color that you see that their boxes and their bags and things are, it was the color of her dress. She's one of the spokespeople for Louis Vuitton. And she just was phenomenally beautiful. That Zendaya can never do wrong. Her and Law Roach, woo, beautiful, beautiful. But anyway, we saw the ring at that's when we saw it, and we found out that them two had been engaged. So congratulations to them. I know people are saying, oh, you know, Zendaya did it right, and you see how she got engaged first and didn't have a baby first, and it was just sort of like, I mean, yeah, I understand what everybody's saying, but it was just like, let's just celebrate that she got engaged. You know, just congratulate Zendaya, let her have her moment and be with her man and all that. Yeah, I am happy though that them two got, you know, engaged, that they doing it that way. So congratulations to them. And then lastly, you guys, what's this foolishness with this Tory Craig, these ex-girlfriends and shit? I don't feel like getting into no racial shit, but I'm just looking at these women that are trying to come out saying that they're confused about what his type is. You know, Tory Craig is the one that Meg the Stallion is dating right now, the basketball player. And, you know, we've got all these women that's trying to like blast him and say he be outside and he be cheating and all. First of all, you're a basketball player. So we already just assume that they got some indiscretions, okay? Is whether or not you're going to put up with them at this point. Now, she Meg the Stallion and he with her, and maybe he going to do differently because he's with this big celebrity or whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. And the basketball players be doing a whole bunch. All right. But to me, it's still like, why these women coming out like, oh, bitches out here, oh, pick-me-ass ones was wanting to come out and say something like, oh, he always be with people that look like me. Like, well, who is his type? Like, well, bitch, his type is the one that he with right now. He ain't with you right now no more, so that's not what he doing. And why is it that you feel the need to be doing this anyway? Hell, half these basketball players, they type is coochie. All right? If the bitch got a coochie and she look decent enough, he might try to get with it if they throw it at him. All right? And yours line up just like everybody else's fucking coochie around there too. I can't stand women like this. Just messy for no fucking reason. Let that man go and be with Megan. I'm sure she know what she got. And if she don't know, she'll find out soon enough, like everybody else find out when they ain't doing what they need to do. But I don't got time, child. Ain't nobody got time. Let me get on up off of here and go get my food and get on back to work. All right, you guys, we do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Till next time, Roxstars.